The space that the Tea Party has created for so-called establishment Republicans. And let's not kid ourselves, folks. This is just really, it's just a branding opportunity at different points.
Exactly. It doesn't matter anymore. I mean, when they nominate that guy in North Carolina, Tom Tillis, the state house speaker, and say he's the establishment one, and he is such a right-wing lunatic that this is the guy who thinks the minimum wage should be eliminated. I mean, that guy is to the right of, probably I'd say 90% of the people the Republicans would have even put up, just 20 years ago.
Yep.
So it doesn't, you call him establishment, call him Tea Party, it's all a bunch of crap at this point. The only difference between the establishment and Tea Party is the establishment guys are the guys that know to comb their hair and shave once in a while, and maybe put on clothing without tears in them and walk around openly shooting people. Maybe that's the difference. But most of these guys, these so-called establishment guys, I mean, the two guys we're talking about in Georgia who love this guy, they're establishment guys. Saxby Chambliss, the guy that put on the ad against the guy, the triple amputee, Max Cleland, right, saying that he loved Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden. Yeah, that's establishment guy, Saxby Chambliss, and the other one, Johnny Isaacson. So that just doesn't mean anything anymore. They're all crazy. Just some of them literally don't know how to hide it. Some of them say they're witches in commercials. If you don't declare you're a witch in a commercial, I guess that means you're establishment these days.
Right. The guy that Tillis beat was a guy who basically said, I don't know the specifics, but it was akin to the idea of like, we really should go back to, senators being picked by legislatures and not, he was full on.
You're rolling things back 100 years at that point.
Yes. Full on.
From when the state legislatures, much like they are today, were bought off. Back then it was by railroad and some other big steel interests and whatever. So that was a progressive reform because the legislatures were so bought off they would appoint whoever gave them the most money. So it became a direct election. These guys want to go back to that because, I trust the state legislature in Arizona or Wisconsin to pick a frickin', senator. Think of who they'd pick.
Now, I want to talk briefly about North Carolina because I think this is going to be one of the most important, well, obviously, but I think it's going to be the Senate race that may ultimately make the difference in terms of whether or not the Democrats retain control. It is going to be really fascinating to see if what has been going on with Moral Mondays down there, and we've been getting some regular dispatches in the better half of this program from Triangle Bill, who's down there. He's been involved in it over the past year and a half now, I guess. Whether or not we're going to see an increased turnout from the relative to an off-year election to the presidential election, particularly because Tillis is so deeply involved in the voter suppression that's gone on there, the cutting off of unemployment benefits, the stopping of expansion of Medicaid. This is a guy who is really, when we think of the Republican Party, this is the guy now. I really don't know what the daylight is between what this guy espouses and what the establishment considers Tea Partiers. He was going on. There's apparently a tape of him out there talking about how they have to divide and conquer those on public assistance. So essentially that like the sick people attack the poor people. And we need to break up that coalition between the dispossessed and the really dispossessed. I guess Michael talked about this yesterday, but it's going to be fascinating to see where that lands.